So this is not my first rodeo. I have been to Fort Wayne maybe a half dozen times. We used to come right after Rudy came out when we were invited to the Mad Anthony's golf tournament. So I am mad at myself for not figuring out how to get back here more recently, but I was particularly honored. I can't remember the exact year, it might have been like 97 or something, but I was awarded a red coat by the Mad Anthony's. And I think the fact that I had married a Hoosier and appeared in Rudy, which is a nice Hoosier association, was enough for them to do me that honor. So it was fun, and I still have it. I should have brought it. I should have done the speech tonight in my Mad Anthony's red coat. That would have been awesome. Yeah, so I've been doing speeches at major universities for about a year now, a little over a year maybe. The topic of leadership is one that I try to inject into the lectures. Selfishly, it helps me think about my own life in the way that I want to perceive myself. So having a topic and a theme that allows me to kind of read through the facts of my life and career, which people are intrigued about, because the movies I've been in, they like some of the movies I've been in, they like. So it seems like a good fit. I think most of the students find it invigorating, and I find it rewarding, and it's generally been a pretty successful adjunct to my normal life, which is still acting and filmmaking and being a dad. So yeah, and the people at the Holiday Inn could not possibly have been any more gracious. I felt like Caesar returning at the head of 5,000 men.
That's great.
Yeah.
What got you started doing these lectures?
I have spoken in front of groups for my entire life, and one of the little anecdotes I go into in the speech is about how I first came to realize that people might listen to what I had to say when I was 12 years old. And we did a press conference for the Goonies, and I talk about how that was the crucible in which a member of the liberal media elite was born. But I've been on a couple of it seemed like a logical thing to have happen, and I found myself asking other people who gave speeches and who represented speakers and who brought speakers in to speak to their schools or their groups about how I might formalize the process. As a member of President Bush's Council on Service and Civic Participation, I found myself speaking to a lot of groups, but it would happen because a group like Generations United would find out about, would look at the council members, identify me, track me down through the council, invite me, and I would speak. So it was I would react to people's requests. The speakers, this little university tour that I did was something that I tried to generate myself. So instead of reacting, it's more proactive. And the response, once we came up with a kind of catch line for it from the universities was swift and strong. And I think it's been successful.
You were talking when we came in a little bit about wanting to be heard, having something to say.
Yeah.
And how do you get your message out there and overcome kind of the Rudy and the
by doing these speeches. That you basically just said the first two paragraphs of my speech tonight. Is that I sort of joke. I stand up and I say, thanks for having me here. I've got something to say. I really have something to say. I want to be heard, and that's a condition among most actors. We want to be heard, and I'm in this country, I have the constitutional freedom to do it. I think people want to hear from actors a lot more often than they admit they do. Even if it's just so that they can enjoy the process of dismissing the lunacy of what they've just heard. So I have, tried in my life to get a formal education and to have a civic-minded life, and so I think why I like the university settings is because the premise of universities is to grow and learn and have that kind of focused mentality, and that's the point of it. That's the point of the gathering. So a lot of times, if you're speaking to an older group, or you're speaking to, you go to a juvenile detention center, or you go to any one of a million different places, you go to different political rallies and things, the purpose for the gathering is different. I like the university gathering because it lets me explore my ideas, preparing for it, and to see and feel how other people gain value out of it when they hear it. It's a good exchange.
So you have the name, Sean Astin.
I do.
That probably opens a lot of doors.
Yeah.
But that is just
Lord of the Rings opens doors, and Rudy opens doors, and Sean Astin is like, oh yeah, isn't that the guy?
What are some of the challenges that go along with that, though?
Challenges for what? For me personally, or for like this process of wanting to speak at colleges, or?
For wanting to speak and then wanting to be heard. And
Well, here's the thing. In my concept of the universe, in order to deserve being heard, you have to also be a good listener. And the fact is, there are a lot of voices wanting to be heard, in particular in these formal settings. So there's always a balance, that economics versus the art and social value, and the value of any kind that's being provided to the students, or the local community, if it's open up to the local community, which I think this is. Is it open up to the community as well? Is it mostly students, right? Yeah. So when there's so many voices wanting to be heard, it's an embarrassment of riches for an organization looking for a speaker. In hard economic times, for both speakers who are looking to get more money and communities who are looking to be good stewards of their resources, the calibration to find the right fit takes some finesse. The irony of this particular speech that I'm giving is it was a result of a radio interview that I gave for like a cartoon, and because I played Rudy and have such strong Hoosier ties, the radio folks contacted the Omnibus Speaker Series folks. So it wasn't like the Omnibus, they're always out there looking. This series is the beginning of this series, the first year of the series. No, it's
the 16th year, but it's the first lecture this year.
Oh, it's the first lecture. Okay, so 60. So they're always out there looking. It's just a good fit. We found each other, the way you do, and it worked. So I don't. It's not my primary focus in life. It's to me something I enjoy. It's I think value that's provided. It's a way to, the honorarium, or a way to kind of be acknowledged with 3 kids in school. That's good to think about. But I'm also having it's not my primary focus. So it's not, when you ask me what's the challenge, it's like, well, there's no challenge. This is a kind of a value added thing in life. It doesn't have to happen this way. And my intention isn't so strong. I don't think I'm in a place in my life as a speaker yet where I feel like, people need to hear it. Like, I want to be heard. That's my want. You know what I mean? But the fact that people want to hear it, to the extent that they want to hear it, makes me very happy. But I don't feel like I need to go out and really market myself in that way. It's not really my